I'm going to start actually with the introduction of the book because it'll set the tone for where the book came from and what it's about and what it means to all of us. So, and I wrote the foreword, or the introduction, so it's appropriate for me to share that. And the very first part of the book in the introduction is a poem that I wrote during the year of service that I did, and it was a turning point in my life, and the book actually talks a lot about that story of finding my own purpose and recognizing that I spent a lot of years of my life going in the wrong direction. I spent a lot of years pursuing my own goals without ever really recognizing what my purpose was, and a lot of us do that. We spend so much time chasing a goal that we never stop and we take the time to say, what is my purpose in life? What am I here to do? And when I took the time, I took an entire year of my life to find that purpose, I recognized that it had been part of my life all along, and there were all of these common themes, but I finally recognized how it all went together. And since then, the amount of clarity I have in my life has been amazing, and so many profound experiences have come from that year. So, let's get started. I've never been so lost, yet so found. I've never felt so free, yet so bound. Never felt such extreme joy in the midst of such pain. Never felt the heat of the sunshine or the intensity of the rain. I've never felt so strong, yet so weak. In the midst of raging war, why can't I find peace? I've never been so lost and so found. God, I need you to help me find solid ground. Life is flying by. Things are so busy right now. I need a pause button. We'll get together when things slow down. Where did this year go? We all find ourselves uttering these words. Yes, time does fly. It seems every year goes by faster than the one before. We complicate our lives by constantly adding more. More work, more commitments, more action items on our ever-growing to-do lists, more stuff. And all the while, we wish for more time. We yearn for simplicity, yet keep making our daily lives more complicated. We wonder when we'll ever get a break, but we never plan to take one. We sleep with our smartphones at arm's length, never wanting to miss a beat. God forbid we miss a status update or a tweet. We can't sleep until we've responded to that email. We pay lip service to the idea of slowing down. We really want to, but we have to check 5 more things off the list before we can relax. We'll find time tomorrow, or next month, or next year. The time is now. Retreat to Success is about slowing down. It's about taking a step back to reflect on what matters most. It's about seeking and hopefully finding clarity. We wrote this book for you. Hopefully you already know your life's purpose. If you don't, you can find it once again. Maybe your purpose was once clear, but now you're not sure what you're supposed to do with your life. Or perhaps it's never been clear. You've been seeking clarity, but can't seem to find it. Slow down, breathe deeply, and open your mind and heart to the story of 3 people, all in different stages of life, who go on a retreat and find themselves. The answers are within you. They always have been. Be still and listen. So that's how it starts. When I tell people about the book and I tell people that we wrote a book about slowing down, the common reaction is laughter. And the response is, you wrote a book about slowing down? What in the world do you know about that? The superwoman mentality that I have has been a long-standing thing in my life. If you know my parents, you know that it comes from them. They are involved in so many things. They do so much good. They're always giving of their time and energy, and so we follow in their footsteps in a lot of ways. But they've also taught us over the years, as they've gained wisdom and learned the importance of taking time. They come to retreat here at Summers Mill at least once every year, most years twice, most years 2 times a year, to just take that time together to reflect on what matters, to talk about their goals, to talk about the direction of their life, and to really evaluate their life's purpose. And that is one of the greatest gifts they've given us, is that constant reminder. And if I look over the years at something they constantly tell us, it's slow down. You know, just remember, don't miss everything that's around you. Don't miss all of the wonderful things that are going on in your life. So one of my favorite quotes and one of my role models in life is Mother Teresa. And one of her most profound quotes, it talks about poverty. And as Billy mentioned, I have a long history of working with people who experience poverty. But one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa is, the greatest poverty is being unloved or uncared for. And we can begin to remedy that kind of poverty at home. And I think a lot of the message of this book is really talking about priorities. It's talking about what matters most in our lives. For me, I've been a mom almost 5 years now. My daughter will be 5 years in May that she was born. And that was a huge turning point in my life in recognizing my need to slow down and my need to not be superwoman to everybody else, but to be superwoman at home, to be super to my husband and to my kids, and that if I was super in their eyes, that all of the other things didn't matter. Another key message of the book is recognizing that every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And if you've done any work with SOS Leadership, you've probably heard us utter those words. And that philosophy has changed my life profoundly. Especially now, I am rarely asked to get involved with something that I don't genuinely want to do. People know my passion and they know my heart. And so when they ask me to get involved with a volunteer opportunity or anything in the community, it's almost always something I want to say yes to. I always ask for time to consider it, and when I go back to reflect on it, I think about what I'll be saying no to if I say yes to them. And if the answer is ever I'm saying no to my husband or I'm saying no to my children, then I have to say no to that opportunity. And at this phase in my life, I'm saying no to a lot of those things, and no used to be a really hard word for me to say. But now I say it with confidence because I know that I'm saying yes to the right people. I'm saying yes to the people that matter most in my life. And that in itself is a tremendous blessing, to just know that I'm going to have great memories of their childhood and they're going to have great memories. Billy, Brian, and our oldest brother Chris and I are very fortunate in having parents that got it right. They were there, they didn't miss things. They were at our games, they were at our plays. You could rest assured that you would see their faces in the crowd for everything that we did. And a lot of people don't have that experience when they're growing up. And we're very fortunate that we do, and that's a big message of what we talk about, is really understanding what your priorities are. Part of slowing down is taking that time to really look at, how am I spending my time? Because your priorities and the way you spend your time should align. I also talk a lot in the book, my character talks a lot about finding clarity, understanding, what my purpose is in life. And one thing that I've continued to reflect on is the fact that clarity isn't a once and for all destination. We don't find clarity once in our life and stick with it forever. It's a constant process. We always have to be seeking clarity. As we change, as we grow, as our life changes, so do our priorities. 10 years ago, before I was married and before I had children, my priorities were drastically different. The way that I spent my time was drastically different. That's probably where the Superwoman name came from, because I was known for 80-hour work weeks while getting my MBA, while volunteering at 6 things. And, I slept 2 hours a night and I rolled with it. It was great. But now, that same lifestyle, that's not the same lifestyle I want to lead. I want to be home, I want to be present, and I want to create lasting memories with my family and make sure that those priorities are there. At the same time, I'm very fortunate to do work that I'm incredibly passionate about. We get to make a difference in people's lives. The mission of our organization is to develop leaders that make a difference, and we get to have that experience all the time of watching people figure out what matters, clarify their goals, recognize that they can accomplish anything they've ever wanted to accomplish in their lives. We have had that's a sustainable theme in our lives. I completed my first goal setting program when I was about 6. I think Billy might have even been younger. We did those programs when we were growing up. We started early, and we were told our entire lives that we could do anything, we could be anything. But the message that the world tells us is you can do anything and be anything if you're willing to pay the price. But our parents had the wisdom to teach us that there's a certain price that's too much. There's a certain price that you need to not be willing to pay. When you have clarity about what your goals are, what your priorities are in your life, you know where you're saying yes and where you need to say no.